This is a 4th generation iPad Air with some charging issues. So we're going to take it apart and take a look on the inside, probably replace the charging port. I don't know if you can tell, but we've got quite a few cracks here in the tempered glass that may get worse when we take the screen off. Hopefully not. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the preheater and get the frame nice and warm so that the adhesive releases a little easier. You got to be careful with these because there's only a tiny bit of adhesive along the edges. Got it on the top and the bottom, but we've also got cables that run along the right hand side here, so you cannot go in very far while you're prying, and if you do, you're going to have some problems. So let me heat this up and I will be right back. All the cables would be on the right hand side. We do have a little notch, a little camera guard thing here at the front, so if you're prying in here, your pry tool can get stuck there if you aren't careful. And you don't want to go very deep here and start cutting into these things. So like I said, you just go in like probably about a 32nd of an inch or so. Otherwise you risk causing damage at the bottom there. Okay, so we're going to start at the upper edge over here. Just want to get in under the edge so that we can fit our pry tool. Playing card. These are actually some Uno cards that kind of work. Now just be careful, because if you go too deep in any direction here, you can actually damage the LCD. That's why these are a little sketchy in the way of repairs. If you don't have experience with them, it can end up costing you a brand new screen. Alright, so we can go across to here. Just leave these in so that nothing sticks to itself again. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of super strong adhesive on here. You don't have to pry these things the way that you do a lot of the other iPads. Let's get this propped up. We don't want this screen flopping over, but we need to disconnect the battery. First thing we really want to do is isolate this battery. Now, you can disconnect the screen before you isolate the battery. The trick is you've got to lift up and not let the connector go back down, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is unplugging this is fine, but if your hand slips and one of the cables, at least the cable for the LCD, reconnects, that's where you risk shorting out generally the backlight circuit, if not the touch circuit. So I want to be careful around those. Let's see if we can just, it does help when the battery's dead already, of course. But if we come in here with the plastic tool and just pop it straight up like that, it's not going to go back down and misalign itself. And when we go to reconnect it, of course, we will already have the battery isolated. So I like to get the screen away from the frame as soon as possible. Do make sure you're not cutting through any cables here. And there we go. Alright, so we'll move this out of the way. Yeah, from here it's kind of downhill. What we have to do is lift up the board enough to get our battery isolating tool underneath. Plenty of rubbing alcohol will help you with that, I hope. We'll see. Yeah, that's going to be too weak. Alright, do be careful, you don't want to pry. Well, in this case we're replacing the port. We still don't want to cause any friction underneath the board there. But I'm going to do this just to get things started. And with any luck, we can just pry straight across. See if this is too wide. This ought to do the trick actually. We'll get underneath here. Push our way through. And there we are. Alright, so now you see what I did? I just kind of worked my way across from the outside. I can see the card coming through in here, which means this is kind of separated already. We'll lift it up. Set it right there. And now there's no current, no voltage, nothing flowing through this thing that can be dangerous while we take the rest of it apart. And since it's been a while, I don't remember exactly what all we need to get. I know we've got a couple antennas here. I'm going to move this over to the scope so that we can both see up close what's happening. Okay, so I'm looking at the top right hand corner of the tablet, and I'm going to have to turn it sideways so that I can fit between myself and the microscope. So again, this is the top right hand corner, but I've got the orientation rotated by 90 degrees to the right. What we need. Unfortunately, I managed to go off camera a bit here, so there's a screw right up here at the top that needs to be removed, and you want to disconnect any flex cables that are underneath that panel. All right. It's interesting the way they smashed this cable into position here. It's a little rough, guys. Okay, so that's pretty much everything we need to worry about in the way of cables and connections, except for this one down here by the battery terminal. So I've got another speaker, or probably a speaker wire. Lift this off. God, I really hate these. I always feel like they're going to break. Okay, so we'll just peel that back. And then we've got this also. Set that there. That. And there we go. And then of course we have our 2 screws for the charge port itself. And the rest is adhesive. Over here on the right hand side, we're going to disconnect the stylus charging coil. Don't want to just pull that straight out. Let's see, is this a pop connector? What am I looking at here? That's neat. Okay, so taking the board out, make sure you get this dude out of the way first. And I'm just going to set this. Set that right there. Okay, so now we are going to heat everything up, and I'm just going to pry underneath the flex cable here for the charging port, underneath the board, and most importantly, try not to flex this very much because they don't like being bent. I'll be back again after we get some heat. Guess we could peel this off for the moment. Transfer that over to the new one. Okay, that's most of it. A little resistance up here. Alright, we'll just have adhesive here at the top. Make sure not to tear this cable. Okay, I'm loving this tool. That works. And there we go. And now for the port. Well, that's great. Not quite enough heat on this one. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we gotta clean this up now. that went sideways a little bit. These are okay. Why are you acting up here? I have to grab another iron. Oh, that's annoying. Hate when that happens. And we lost a little bit of this pad on the far right hand side. Probably see. That's unfortunate. Is there enough to connect there? Does it go anywhere? That's the important question. I don't know why that happened. That was kind of weird. Let's see. Yeah, there is something there, all right. So we need to make sure that gets connected. That's showing me 0.573. So there should be enough of a pad there to connect to. But darn it, I hate when things go this direction. At least we shouldn't need any jumpers, so that's good news. And look at that. See, I love this. Just put a hole in the flex cable. That way we can see right through it. Brilliant, guys. I guess you could always punch your own holes if you needed to. Alright, let's make sure we got a number here. And that is showing me 0.603. So we are good. That's connected. And every once in a while I'll just check a few random pads, make sure we're getting a value. And yeah, we'll be good. Time to put it back together. I'll spare you that process and we'll test it once we're ready to plug it in. Right, so you can see, you probably can't see that. Let's try this. Okay, so when we plug it in, you can see it's charging. Flip the charger over, and there we go.